Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about what you should do whenever you're playing very poorly or just poorly in a competitive game or in any game in Valorant. And basically there's a few guidelines I'm going to give you. Some of them I've talked about in other guys, like what happens whenever you have toxic teammates or whenever you feel like, you're playing a mental game. So really the first one is going to be control negative feelings and emotions as best as you can. And this can be very challenging to do because I understand that sometimes you play Valorant and it's really just like an uphill battle the whole time mentally, and whenever this happens I would suggest just taking a break, like even just for the day if you really think you need to, because sometimes it happens to me where I just kind of accept like today's not a good Valorant day. It's kind of just whatever, like my brain chemistry is maybe just not there, or like my brain's just not ready to play the game and it's just hard. You're basically just fighting an uphill battle at that point. And really, if you just say for example you didn't get a lot of sleep the previous night and your brain's just having a hard time reacting, try not to get upset about that. It's kind of how it is. You have to just kind of accept it and then maybe take a break, or maybe just aim train for the day, something like that if you're really committed. Otherwise, just don't worry about it. Take a break, chill. I know that's sometimes frustrating to hear whenever people say, bro, just take a break, but like there's a lot of truth to it. So next we have learn and adapt during and after games from your mistakes. So if you're having a really bad game, it probably means that you're either just having a bad game, which happens, or maybe might be a reason why you're having a bad game. Like for example, the rank you're in might be a little higher than your own, which in this scenario, it's actually a really good scenario that you're playing bad. You can make a good out of a bad scenario. And playing bad isn't even really a bad thing. You can learn a lot from higher ranked players. Say you're like silver and you're playing with golds and you're like the only silver in the game. You can basically see that as, okay, the game thinks that I should be in gold, so I should be learning what the golds are doing so that I can fit in gold and then eventually rank up out of gold as well. So yeah, next we have don't go on autopilot. This is really important because going on autopilot, basically what that means is you can imagine like an autopilot car or an autopilot plane. This is when you just kind of do things without having any thoughts about what you're doing. You just kind of do it. This is bad for many reasons, mainly because we're kind of just doing things brainlessly, right? There's not much thought or effort behind what we're doing. We're just doing it, and if enemies are one step ahead of us already, and we're not thinking about that, it's going to be an L for the round, and it's going to complicate your poor performance even more. So yeah, continue to calm more if necessary. So a lot of people, whenever they're playing poorly, they kind of just shut off their brains, again autopiloting. Also, they'll stop if they're calming at the start of the game. They'll stop calming. This happens a lot. Like you'll notice that your teammates stop talking, and whenever you're starting to lose a bunch of rounds in a row, and these rounds, it's really especially important that you start continue to calm. Right? It's really important. So if you're bottom fragging and your team's like having a really close game, then I would suggest in those scenarios, especially to take on the IGL role or like just calm and try to call strats. It might feel like you shouldn't be doing that because you're not like playing super well, but it doesn't matter if you're playing super well. You can be the leader regardless of how well you're playing. And most people will be happy that you're calming, so, just give it a shot. Next we have let teammates bait you, in some scenarios anyway. So if you're playing really bad and you just know that you are, for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter what the reason is, then you might want to say, all right, I'm going to try to entry. I'm more than likely going to die, but you guys can just trade me. Which means, okay, I'm probably going to die, but you can kill the person that kills me. And that's really good because it makes it a 4v4. Whereas if you're just kind of doing things, again, autopilot mode, and you're just running in, you're going to make the game 5v4 or 4v5. And it's going to make it even harder on your team. And it's just especially bad if your team still wants to win whenever you're having a bad game, which will happen a lot. So, yeah, try to calm, try to let your teammates trade you. The most important thing is to control the negative emotions, feelings whenever they come up, and then try to just learn from what you're doing wrong. Or again, if you're in a higher rank, try to learn what they're doing, and that's going to be extremely beneficial for your overall performance. And the next game, hopefully, you'll play a little bit better. And remember, if the next game is also not bad, that's okay. Just relax, take a deep breath, and kind of do some of these steps here. But other than that, hopefully this is useful. I'm trying to put a little more thought into my guides. Hopefully some of you guys benefit from this. I think this is a pretty common thing that happens to all of us. So if you guys have any guides, suggestions, or comments, let me know. Please subscribe as well if you are not subscribed yet. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.